Welcome back to Frederick Advice Givers, episode 153. I am Eric Verdi. I am at the Pedego Electric Bike Shop in downtown Frederick. To my right is Mimi and Caitlin. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Thanks for joining us. I'm excited to have you.
Thanks for having us.
I have seen and heard so much about the electric Pedego bikes. It's kind of cool that how you guys have kind of exploded. And when have you been? How long have you been open?
Our grand opening was June 2nd.
Okay, so
it's
2 months.
2 months. Just
2 months?
2 months.
Awesome. So for our audience that does not know you personally, give us a little bit of your backstory. Where did you grow up? What do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
Okay. I've been a Marylander. I grew up in Montgomery County, went to school in Baltimore County, and then moved out to Washington County.
Okay.
However, I've always, for the most part, worked for the last 30 years in Frederick County,
Okay.
which is how I am connected to Frederick.
Doing what? Because not running electric bikes.
It has not been running electric bikes, and my retail experience goes way back.
Okay.
So my career has been in behavioral health, and I've worked in a variety of different nonprofit community development types of agencies within Frederick County for the past 20 years or so.
Cool. Caitlin, what's your backstory, your origin story?
So I grew up in Cumberland, Maryland, and I moved to Frederick when I went to Hood College.
Okay.
So I graduated from Hood 2 years ago, and I've stayed in Frederick since then. I worked as an IT recruiter for a little bit, and then I found myself here at the bike store.
So how do you hooked up with Mimi?
Through a Facebook post.
Really?
Yeah, a mutual connection, knew that they were looking for someone to help out with doing the tours and some marketing and business development type things.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted that person, who then contacted their person, who then contacted Mimi and Scott, and the rest is history.
Awesome. So you guys have only been open 2 months, about 2.5 months when this interview airs. You've been featured on WMAR, the Frederick Magazine, FNP, and you are on the cover of Find It Frederick. So you guys are making a big splash. So first of all, how have you got all these connections to get the press that you have? Because that interests me.
Well, I think, the feedback that we've received from everybody is that electric bikes are just exactly what Frederick needs.
Okay.
And so, we felt like we brought to the table something that Frederick did not have.
Okay.
Frederick has grown so much over the last 20 years that I've been here. And we just felt like this was a great place to be able to open.
Awesome. So I know your partner, Scott, he's been actually on Advice Givers twice.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. So that's how we got hooked up.
Mm-hmm.
And he was explaining the electric bikes to me and like how he found Pedego and the company and the philosophy. If you want to kind of explain that would be great.
Yeah, so Scott and I go way back. We've worked together in the nonprofit world and in the consulting world for about 20 years.
Okay.
And he had come across an article in Inc. magazine. And at the time I was working with a nonprofit mental health agency. And he approached me and said, there's this place. I really think I really like their business model. Mm-hmm. What do you think? And I thought, well, I know Scott very well. He's quite a visionary. And I thought, well, I'll listen to him. But this, I'm
right.
not the electric bike selling person.
Right.
Maybe this will die down. And it did not. So he approached me again. He says, I really think that, their business model is really on target. They really get it. And so I said, you know what? With a totally open mind, I am not somebody I'm not a cyclist.
Right.
I used to ride when I was a young kid, but that was the extent of it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll go out to California. We'll go to the Pedego headquarters. Mm-hmm. And either they sell me on it or not. So that not just the product, not just the bikes, but their whole philosophy, their approach to business.
Right.
So we went. And that was, I think, last November. And on the ride back, it just changed my entire outlook on what electric bikes could offer.
Okay.
And I think that's part of what made me make a career change, because I think it's not just that I'm, selling electric bikes, but I'm selling experience for people. Now, Pedego's tagline is "Hello Fun."
Okay.
It's very basic.
Right.
It's very basic. I come from, a career that's very, cognitive, and that basic concept has so much depth to it, though. And I think that's one of the things that filters down from the Pedego headquarters in general.
Awesome.
Is that they really do believe that, and it definitely trickles down to everyone else.
Cool. Caitlin, explain the bike to me.
Okay,
So explain the motor, battery, like what's an electric bike?
Okay, so Pedego is one of the only companies that built these bikes to be electric. They didn't
Okay.
have bikes beforehand that they were switching and using conversion kits. They really built this bike to be electric and to be able to use all the features that an electric bike should be able to use. So kind of what makes Pedego really unique is they had that in mind while developing all of these bikes that you see. So they have a pedal assist feature, they have a throttle, or you could ride it like a normal bike. A lot of electric bikes these days, they'll have one option or the other. They don't typically have all three. And they especially don't have kind of the ease that you can go from one to the other.
Okay.
So pedal assist, basically as you're pedaling, the motor will sense that and it'll give you some energy while you're pedaling.
Are there different gears?
Yeah,
Are there
so
different?
it's a 7-speed bike, so they have the regular bike gears, but they have 5 levels of pedal assist.
Okay.
So 1 is like a little bit, 2 is a little bit more, and then 5 you're really going pretty fast.
Okay.
And there's a throttle right on the handlebar, and it's really easy to use. All you do is pull it towards you a little bit, and you just take off. So you don't have to pedal, you don't have to do anything. It's kind of like a little motorcycle.
Okay.
And that's really easy for like if you're going up a hill and either you don't really want to go up the hill or you just need some extra help. You just hit the throttle and you're good to go.
Okay. So it's kind of like a combination between a bike and a motorcycle. Is that dumbing it way down, the vanilla version of it? Because it has a motor or a moped.
It does have a motor.
And how long does the engine or how long does the motor last?
So it goes.
The battery?
Battery, yes.
Yeah, the battery lasts for about 60 miles on our rental bikes.
Okay.
And that's, on a relatively flat surface and minimal pedaling, the battery can last up to 60 miles.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you're the only Pedego electric bike shop around that I know of,
Yes.
right?
The only dealer in Maryland.
In Maryland. Okay. So why did you specifically choose Frederick?
Well,
And then in the heart of downtown Frederick, no less. We're not out on the Golden Mile. We're not out on Buckingstown Pike. We are in the heart of downtown Frederick. So why did you choose 1, Frederick, and 2, the downtown location?
Well, the downtown area of Frederick, like I said earlier, has really exploded. I think people, 20 years ago, or when I was a kid growing up, we used to come out to Frederick and it was like out,
Right.
farmland. It was forever. It was like a field trip. And now it's a destination place for people. We're about a block away from the visitor center. And so we've worked very closely with them. They helped us with developing the Fall in Love with Frederick tour.
Okay.
And so part
Hold
of
on. Okay, so I can buy this bike, right? Or
Yes. So we do sales.
do tours?
We have we do tours, guided tours, and
Okay,
we also
so
do rentals.
explain the tours to me, either one of you.
Caitlin is our director of fun.
Okay.
And that is her title, and she is the tour guide. And so I'll let you describe what the Fall in Love with Frederick tour
Okay,
is.
so like I have my friends. Is it a single person tour? Is it 20 people? What kind of tours do we have? Explain the tours to me.
So I could take out a tour if it's just one person who wants to go, or up to 8 people.
Okay.
And so basically I take people up the street and I teach them how to ride the bikes and how to use a pedal assist and whatnot. And then I give them kind of a spiel about what to expect on the tour. It's an hour and a half long and we go about 8 miles throughout Frederick. And then so basically what happens is we just take off, and the first stop is Mount Olivet. It's right up the street from here. So I'll hop off the bike, I'll give some history, some fun facts and everything like that, and then I'll let them know what to expect to the next stop,
Okay.
road-wise. And then, you know, we go to the next stop, same thing, hop off the bike, tell a little bit about it, and then we just go from there. So there are about 9 stops on that tour.
Okay.
And it's all throughout, you know, the downtown Frederick area. We go, like I said, Mount Olivet. We go out to, you know, Baker Park and Hood College and through right downtown. Kind of everywhere in between. So it's a really fun and different way to see Frederick and also get to learn about Frederick.
Okay.
And you know, it's for people that are from here and not from here. So even if you do live in Frederick, it's a really great way to learn some things that you might not have known before and just kind of see Frederick in a different light.
Cool.
We
Yeah.
wanted it to be a nice snapshot of
Right.
Frederick.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of the tours, like the walking tours or other tours, are a lot of times history related because, you know, Frederick is a historical place.
Correct.
And totally understandable, but I think Frederick offers so much other stuff too that we want people to see the architecture and learn a little bit more about other parts of history and to see the downtown and see how vibrant, you know, the business community has become.
So are there set days and times for the tours, or how does that work?
So we're open Monday through Sunday, and we do tours every day. We do have a schedule, but if people call and want to do like a made-to-order tour, we do that as well. So kind of like a variation of the Fall in Love with Frederick tour, but maybe just hit some things that they would want to see other than what's on the tour. So we have the tour times on our website. We also have them here in the store, so you can just call and ask. Or if it's like a made-to-order tour with a group of people, if it's like a business development and training type thing,
Right.
We can do that and just call ahead and let us know, and we'll be able to set you up.
Very cool. So do I get to pick out the bike that I ride, or do you pick that out for me? Because
Yeah.
I see probably 20 different bikes,
Yes.
20 different models.
So it would depends. We, you know, part of the tour, part of the rental is we fit you for a bike
Okay.
as well as for a helmet.
Okay.
And so, you know, like I'm 5'2", so I can't ride all of the bikes. So I do ride the 24-inch Interceptor.
Okay.
But you know, we help people figure out what makes them the most comfortable. So we do have a large selection of bikes. Some of the bikes are meant to have better accessibility or easier accessibility
Okay.
for people. And so, you know, we help them with figuring out, you know, what are maybe some of the challenges of riding a bike in general. Some people who have come in, and myself included, haven't ridden in years.
Okay.
When I went up to Pedego's headquarters, I hadn't ridden since I was a child. So, so I understand when people come in, they're a little bit, you know, cautious, and they're like, well, you know, I haven't ridden in many, many years. And I'll hand them over to Caitlin because Caitlin has the ability to just kind of make people feel calm and put them at ease. And then they come back and they're like, that was the best thing.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, so I want to loosen it up a little bit. What's the last purchase that you splurged on either for yourself or your family?
Well, you know, I'm a pretty calculated person and practical, so I'm not much of a splurger.
Right.
You know, so I'm kind of simplistic. So I guess the last splurge, well, other than the business,
Right.
would probably be my dog Carly, who
Okay.
comes to work with me now. She probably is my largest splurge.
Awesome. Caitlin?
Well, I would say my dog, but I got him for free, so wasn't much of a splurge. I bought myself a ticket out to California a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
So I spent 10 days in San Francisco. I like to travel a lot and, you know, kind of get out when I
Right.
can. So, yeah, I went to San Francisco for 10 days, and that was spent a lot of money, so I'd say that was a splurge.
Awesome. Yeah, traveling's one of the things that my family and my wife and I love to do. You know, it's life is about experiences,
Absolutely.
not so
Exactly.
much about the
Yes.
material things.
Yep.
All right, so Caitlin, you go first on this one.
Okay.
What hobby or interest could you spend hours doing outside? Well, it might even be riding bikes, but outside of work.
So I come from a big biking family.
Okay.
We used to bike all the time when I was little. I've biked across Michigan 6 times, so we did a lot of the state rides. So biking definitely is one hobby that I'm kind of really into.
Right.
I also run and do yoga.
Okay.
And other than that, just hanging out with my dog, honestly.
Cool.
It's kind of a hobby in itself, but yeah.
Awesome. Mimi?
She does have a really cool dog.
Does she?
I'll say that. He's in that magazine right there.
Okay.
Arlo. Let's see. So hobbies. You know, I'm kind of an introvert.
Right.
I am an introvert. I'll say that. So I enjoy my time by myself, and I love gardening.
Okay.
I like just listening to, nature. I like planting flowers and seeing things that I've actually grown. I usually have a huge vegetable garden.
Okay.
I have no problems with weeding all day.
Awesome. Okay.
Other people can't stand it. I just find something, it's kind of
Therapeutic.
like one of those things that, yes, that, you can see what you've actually
Right.
accomplished. And, in my career of working in mental health, that's not always a very easy thing to see.
Right. So Mimi, being a business owner and entrepreneur, what's that drive that gets you up in the morning to come in every day and help grow and build a brand here in Frederick?
I really do agree with what you said, which is, life is kind of about experience. It's not really about, it's not about the purchase. People typically come in and they're like, ooh, these are really expensive. And I get it. I get it. It is an investment. It is a financial investment. But when people realize that it's an investment in themselves, which should be the greatest value that you have, that really is what makes me come in. It's really, kind of, I espouse that across everything in my life. So it certainly applies here as well, which is, I want to be able to help people improve their quality of life. And I have found that these bikes have really been able to do it. I hear it time and time and again from people who either have purchased or people who rent. I have yet to see somebody come back through the door and go, it's just really wasn't
I didn't
for
enjoy
me.
it, right.
They are usually just grinning from ear to ear, and that there's some satisfaction in being able to see that and knowing that people feel really happy and that, they've said hello
Fun. There you go. So having been in business for 2 months now, open for 2 months now, but longer, you've had a cycle to open the business. And this is actually a great time to ask this question because it's fresh in your mind. What's a shortcut or a piece of advice that you could give somebody else that's just starting out in business or the entrepreneurial world?
I think the most important thing, and I don't know if it's a shortcut or not, but I think it's really important to listen. So I don't do this by myself. There are 3 owners, just one of them, and so we work as a team. We brought Caitlin on, and she brings something to the whole team as well. So we see her as being a partner as well. I think it's really important to listen to your customers, listen to people who've had experience in this industry to begin with. So there's lots to learn. I think people bring a lot of wisdom, and if you just kind of plug ahead and go, the goal is to just sell, you'll miss a lot, and I think you won't be as successful.
Gotcha. So I'm going to frame this question differently for you because you kind of run the tours, right? So as you're growing the tours with the visitor center, with other businesses in town, what have you learned?
Probably the number one thing is don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
Like if you don't know something or if you don't understand something or if you just need something repeated, it's really important to just go ahead and ask rather than to just not know.
Okay.
So, we just partnered with Sherlocked In, and so we're doing a Pedals and Puzzles tour type
Chris
thing.
Sparks.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome guy. He was just on 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah,
awesome
he's
guy.
So cool.
He is.
Really great guy to partner
He's
with.
a ball of energy.
Yes. So that's on a guided tour, but that's like a huge scavenger hunt across Frederick.
Okay.
And they brought the scavenger hunt side and we brought the bikes to it.
Awesome.
So there is a huge learning opportunity for us. And that was our first real partnership with another business in Frederick. So kind of just learning how to do a partnership type thing and kind of working out the kinks as we go and then, finally testing it out ourselves just from start to finish, just being sure that you ask questions and clarify and just really make sure you're on the same page as everyone is something that I've found to be incredibly helpful so far.
Okay.
And not to be afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right. Mimi, so what's maybe a bad piece of advice, or not necessarily bad, but a piece of advice that somebody told you when you were starting out that hasn't worked out like they said it might or would?
I would say stressing the importance of the bottom line. I think that sometimes in business that, you get so caught up in, survival,
Right.
which is, I got to get this, I got to get this off the ground, and I got to pay the rent, and I got to do this, and you lose focus with what your overall goal is. And so we like to be able to keep our focus on, what it is we're trying to do. We're trying to we're trying to create an impact in people's lives.
Right.
And we believe in our product. And I think the rest of it kind of takes care of itself. I mean, we have to obviously make smart decisions, and they have to be, based on data that we can collect.
Right.
However, at the same time, I think you have to, know what your overall goal is, and not be so consumed with that bottom line.
Gotcha. All right, so before I go any farther, you guys have to tell me the story. I see Todd, Richard, Ringo, and Luke on this carpet in front of me. Now, Scott's giving me like the behind the scenes tour before you guys open. For our audience, what is this piece of carpet here?
So our third owner is Todd Ritchie, and originally from California, and he is not typically here because he works in the entertainment industry.
Okay.
So right now he's on Broadway with Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
And this carpet traveled with Ringo Starr for 10 years. So this was the stage carpet. And when we first came here and the place was renovated and we looked and we were like, oh my God, what are we going to do with this floor?
Right.
I said to Todd, what about that carpet you have in storage? And he said, well, I don't know. It's really long. And I said, well, what's the measurements? And he said, it's 42 or 40 by 12. And I said, great, our room is 42. And I said, it will be perfect. So we got it here, had it shipped out, and unrolled it, and it fit like a glove.
I love that you haven't taken the names off of here.
Well, yeah, we're afraid to take the names
I
off.
wouldn't.
We actually, when we unrolled it, there's a set list that was from the last show. There were guitar picks, and so it was really fun to just unfurl it and just see kind of history. And hey, a Beatle.
Right.
Has been on a couple Beatles actually.
That's
Paul
awesome.
McCartney's been on it as well. So.
That's awesome. All right. So in the last 3 years, what's the choice that you've made to have us here today, and where you guys are?
In the last 3 years, well, I made a total career change, so that is certainly a choice. I think overall, just in life in general, I think, I think I have learned better to balance things in life.
Okay.
I tend to have, overthought things and, just kind of ruminate on things that have gone on in the past. And I've learned that, you have to have balance. It's good to have all of that. It's good to make, good educated decisions. But at the same time, it's also good to, what I say to people is live like a dog, which means dogs live in the moment. And every moment that you have is one that you create. And so you just continue to build upon that. And so I like to do both.
Live like a dog. I love it.
Live like a dog.
Caitlin?
Well, so I graduated college 2 years ago, so I'm still kind of beginning my career.
Right.
I started off on a path that really wasn't for me, really didn't give me any gratification outside of work. So I kind of quit my job on a whim and just hope things worked out for me, and here I am today. So I guess just kind of have faith that things will work out and things will be okay, and not everything happens for a reason, but hopefully it does. And so now I have this opportunity to grow this company with some awesome people and have a ton of fun doing it. So definitely made the right decision with that.
Very cool. And you have a biking background, so it kind of fits.
I do, yes.
Your family loves to bike. So awesome. All right, so I have sat across the microphone from 152 other entrepreneurs and business owners. I get to learn so much by asking you questions. I get to extract nuggets from each interview to use in my business, in my life, and live like a dog. I'm gonna take that one. I like that. Live in the moment. That's a great quote. I want to flip the script and have you, or both of you, or one of you ask me a question.
Do you have anything?
Am I going first? Okay. Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? So I do a lot, first of all. Why I do Advice Givers, and why we have this podcast, is to help other business owners and entrepreneurs share their story with the public. In my day-to-day business, I kind of cracked the code about 5-6 years ago that opening yourself up, being authentic, sharing your story, and I actually did that through the written word. I still do it. Through the written word was very powerful. It had a connection with my audience. So a lot of my business was from referrals, from past clients, from people that read the content that I put out, that liked what I had to say. So about 3.5 years ago, like you have business partners, I've got business partners and mentors. I went to Ryan Fletcher and said, I'd like to help other businesses share their story. My first idea was actually to do a magazine. And to just write articles about other business owners and entrepreneurs. And he said, Eric, that's too hard. That's too time intensive. You don't have the time to do it. What we're going to do is start a podcast and share the story through audio. And then we can also, now we've done video, we also write articles. So it was kind of my way to give back to the community and to help other business owners have a platform. So Advice Givers is a platform to help you guys and 152 other businesses share their story. So that's kind of why I do what I do, because I've kind of found success in sharing story, and I have a platform now to help business owners.
Okay.
Caitlin, got anything?
So it's Frederick Advice Givers.
Correct.
And you've interviewed all these people. So kind of gathering all of your interviews and the advice that other businesses have given, what advice would you give to a new business? To
follow your heart. I've found, now that we're over 3.5 years into interviewing businesses, the ones that are the most passionate about what they do, the ones that aren't just in it for money, the ones that are in there for helping people. Like you had mentioned in the pre-interview, you're going for a lifestyle. You're helping people that might be a little bit older that don't bike like they used to. The people that are passionate about helping others, about their business. Chris Sparks, a great example. He comes from a theater background, and he loves gaming and board games, and he kind of turned that passion into the escape room. So it's the ones that have the passion that if you're following your heart with your passion, then you're going to be successful. Great question.
Thank you.
Great question.
No, good one.
Awesome. So what failure or loss has helped mold you into the person you are today and helped set you up for success? And or maybe it's your core values. What failure or loss helped shape you?
I don't really see anything as a failure or a loss.
Okay.
Because I do really believe that everything that does happen for a reason. So even if I look at situations that maybe I've worked places that haven't worked out well, there has always been something that's been unique to that situation. I've met some incredible people at those places that remain like lifelong friends. So to me, I'm like, okay, well maybe the job itself didn't work out. Maybe I didn't share those values that they had as a business, but the people that I met were incredible. So to me, I don't see that as a loss. I think that every interaction, this interaction creates a reaction. And I think that just ripples everywhere. So I don't really feel like there's been a failure or loss.
Okay. What's the necklace? What's the significance of the turtle?
This is a turtle.
I see that.
Okay, so this is a slur.
see, I'm trying-
This was a splur.
Okay. Okay.
When I turned 45, I decided, you know what, I'm 45, I'm going to actually go and buy myself something.
Okay.
So I was in Philadelphia at a Bruce Springsteen show, and I decided
Did you have backstage passes?
Well, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
So I walked into this jewelry store and I loved it. Now, I do live this as well. I love turtles. Don't
Okay.
ask me why. But, you know, the whole fable about the turtle in the hair.
Right.
I live that. I think it is, you know, slow and steady does win the race.
Right.
So I always do look further out instead of, you know, just the immediate in front of me.
Awesome.
So yes, that's the turtle.
Cool. Caitlin, what failure or loss has helped shape the person that you are?
I'm kind of with Mimi. I haven't really had any like direct failures or losses. It's more so just like the learning.
Your first foray into the business job world?
Well, yeah. So I would more consider it kind of like the learning curve of life.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, fresh out of college, you have these expectations and everything's going to be great and you're going to be making all this money. And then life hits you and it's just not really the case. And then so just being able to get out of your comfort zone and take risks and chances, you know, if you're at a job that you're not necessarily happy with, chances are there is something better out there. It's just you being able to overcome that fear and just take the risk and just, you know, dive right into it. So I wouldn't consider, you know, my first job a failure.
Right.
I would just consider it a learning experience.
Okay.
And, you know, you don't know everything, so being able to kind of take it as it comes and deal with it and then move on to something better is a good way to be doing life.
Awesome.
This is why she makes part of our team.
Right, exactly. I love it. So, Mimi, where do you guys see the business in 3 years and then in 10 years?
In 3 years, I think we will be well established definitely in Frederick. Hopefully in all of Maryland. I mean, we have a lot of people who contact us from outside of Maryland as well. I think in general, electric bikes.
So you're a franchise.
Yeah, we're an
Do you have rights that you?
So no, this is part of the unique business model.
Sorry to go off script here, but I want
that's okay. It is part of the you know, so it's kind of a hybrid. Pedego Corporate provides so much support to us. But at the same time, every dealer is an independent dealer. You make your own decisions. So there's not like a cookie cutter that they say it needs to happen like this. They provide you with support. They provide you with guidance. But then you are on your own with the ability to always lean on them. So if you go to other dealerships, they are all vastly different. And that is because I think every dealership caters to their community, which I think is really important.
Okay.
So it's not like, you know, you have a chain store that opens up and you know you can go to any city and it's going to be the same. Nope.
Okay.
And so I think in 3 years, I think we will have really established ourselves in this general area.
Okay. And then in 10 years?
And then in 10 years, well, a long time from now. I know, 10 years. I can't think 10 years. I'm living like a dog here.
Okay. I can accept that answer. I can accept that answer. All right, so where are we physically located? Website, Facebook, Instagram, and then I'll let you finish with how they schedule tours.
Yes, so we are located at 125 South Carroll Street. You can contact us on our website, which is pedegofrederick.com. Our phone number is 301-624-4000. And we are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Caitlin is the one who keeps up all of those things, as well as doing the tours.
So tell us about the tours. If I wanted to schedule a tour, how would I go about doing that, Caitlin?
So if you want to schedule a tour with us, just give us a call or send us a message on Facebook. Just let us know how many people to expect, kind of what height you are so we can get the right bike for you reserved, and then what time you want to come in, and we'll go from there. The tours are $75 per person. And like I said earlier, they are an hour and a half long and they go over 8 miles of Frederick. Yeah, so just call us and we'll reserve your spot.
Awesome. Mimi, Caitlin, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
on episode 153 of Frederick Advice Givers. Listeners, viewers, I hope you enjoyed the Pedego electric bike story, and especially Mimi and Caitlin as much as I did. And we are out.